So here we go with the third instalment of the breakdown of the bullshit that Formula One gave to the world in the post Abu Dhabi race show. Like I say, 9.8 million subscribers to their YouTube channel, 2.2 million views of this, 47,000 likes. This is the level of conditioning that they're able to exert on people. So we'll continue with the bullshit they're going to talk about. Perez backing up Lewis Hamilton. I'm not going to get into this. Ethically, there are issues with it. It probably contravenes the FIA International Sporting Code, but actually it's a side issue, and I'm not going to muddy the waters. But here we go.
One of the best moments of the race. Checo defending like his life depended on it. Absolute MVP of the race for Sergio Perez. Matt, you said man.
Okay, I'm going to try and fast forward through because I don't want the video to be blocked for using their footage. What you've got to understand is he pretty much goes off the track. At this point here, goes off the track in performing an overtake. Pretty much. Look at this.
To put yourself in a risky place.
In re-passing Lewis. You know, it's extremely rash. It's not really acceptable, but nothing gets done. And then through that tight turns complex, he just makes sure that there's no way past. Now, if you are we know what was purposefully done. We know it was purposefully done to back Lewis up. And people will cite this notion of, yeah, well, Lewis did the same. Well, Lewis slowed other drivers down when he was in the race himself, when he was contesting for that race win and for that position. Checo's doing it for somebody else. Again, you know, if, for example, use athletics as an example, and let's say it's a 10,000 meter running race, and you've got a team of, you see it often, of the African nations that are brilliant at the distance events. You got like a team of 3 Kenyans and maybe a team of 3 Ethiopians or something like that. And let's say Sir Mo Farah was in that race back when he was top of the world at what he did. If you'd got, say, 3 Kenyan athletes and Mo Farah was running in that race, and one of them athletes was used to purposefully just block off Mo Farah, just get in his way and just keep running from side to side to make sure Mo Farah couldn't get past him, whilst the other Kenyans were like running off down the track, and one of them was just being used to block Mo Farah. Would that be acceptable? It wouldn't. It wouldn't be acceptable. But Formula One, they tell you that's incredible. Oh, Checo Perez. Oh, we're going to now call him the Mexican Minister of Defense. Oh, yeah, narrative. Okay, but you know, this is what they get away with. The fanboys will want to jump up in the comment section and contest this. I'm not interested. I'm not going to get into an argument with you over it. All right, you can jog on. Not gonna. I don't care, because this does not form part of the legal case against the sport of Formula One, who is going to be challenged for their corruption and hopefully will be exposed to the entire world for their corruption. If there is this due process in this world, if it actually exists, if law is actually real, okay, and not just some corrupt facade for the wealthy, okay, if law is actually real, then we're going to win 100%. But this will be the test of it. This will be the test of it. Some of you realise that. Some of you, you've got no fucking clue whatsoever.
With someone that has nothing.
Yeah, this was beautiful. Absolutely right. The gap on straight
up all the way through here. Just back him.
Because Max got that gap down then to under 2 seconds.
Oh yeah, Max got that gap down to under 2 seconds. Super Max, Super Max. Well done you, Max. Didn't need the help of somebody blocking somebody off for you to do that. Max got that gap down.
It was just, I mean, in terms of team game, gamesmanship, pretty incredible.
And
yeah, the team game of them Kenyans blocking off Mo Farah. That was incredible, wasn't it? No, it's not allowed.
Lewis wasn't very happy and sort of said, is that a bit dangerous, backing off in that corner? But it's a little bit similar to what he did in 2016. I was racing, I don't really remember it all that well, but wasn't he backing Rosberg up in a sort of similar manner to try and win the...
Yeah, because he was directly racing, right, in himself, rivaling the other guy for a championship. That's different, okay? That's different to using a third party to block off your competitor for you.
The championship there.
Daniel Ricciardo joins the show. Hello, my man.
Let's predict. Did Daniel Ricciardo have a great season as well? No, he didn't. He had a pretty shit season as it goes. But, great guy, great season. That's what it's been for every other driver.
And not the result I know you wanted to end the season, but the good news is the season's over now.
Yeah. Did you say the good news is the season's over?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to be like that. Well, but you kind of have to be, because it is such a long year, and of course, like, we're doing something we love. But the last part of the season, you know, it's with the triple headers and the doubles. It's been intense, and I think most importantly, I'm looking forward to just getting home eventually and spending some time with family in Australia.
This was the Daniel Ricciardo that in his car, as the race was ended, and he's going around that parade lap and then parking up in the pits, says, well, I don't know what the fuck happened there, but I'm glad I wasn't part of it. That same guy, yeah? Let's see what they say about that. So let's see what they ask him about what he meant when he said that.
Even if you've got to spend Christmas Day in a quarantine hotel, I know that.
Yeah.
But look, on Thursday, you and I were chatting, and yeah,
I might pull my teeth out. We'll see what happens.
I hope they've got good room service. You said on Thursday that in order to understand the difficulties you'd had this year, you had to completely scientifically take yourself apart and understand every facet of why you're fast, where things weren't quite working. Hello. You know, how helpful has this year been for you in terms of that understanding, in terms of getting a real knowledge of how you race and why you race as you do?
Yeah, it's been, I mean, I kind of had to learn the hard way, if you will. You know, definitely more tricky days than not, but I did definitely learn stuff through that, and so that's, you know, I have to take that and, you know, put it to good use for next year. I think I took a bunch of it for the second half of this season.
Yeah, whatever we do, let's not talk about what happened in those last 5 laps.
And my second half was better, but still not the level I want it consistently. So definitely still some stuff to work on. But I think what will give me that is just some time away now. I need a break.
I know we've got to let you go, so just a quick one before you do. Used to be teammates with Max, world champion today. Happy for him?
Yeah, I am. I'm happy for him. Happy for Red Bull to get back up there. So of course I am. But maybe I don't know. Maybe this is the nice guy in me, but I can't say that without feeling for Lewis. That was a dramatic ending to the season.
Thanks, man.
All
Cheers
right.
for coming on. Enjoy the
Cheers.
break. Enjoy the quarantine hotel.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Cheers, man. It's
What did that reveal to you all? What an incredible bunch of presenters asking those fucking really important questions.
It's fascinating to see how he has unpeaked himself this year to try and understand the car himself, where it was going wrong. And he said,
Yeah, it's fascinating. Daniel's journey this year. The journey. Yeah. Did you ask him what he said in the car afterwards? Why he felt that way?
the other day, I've really learned why I'm fast, and he'd never kind of had to scientifically understand because it's just been on feeling, as I guess you guys know.
Yeah, let's pretend that we're now talking scientifically about this. We're talking about scientifically about Daniel's journey. Yeah, because we're all drivers, right? Yeah, let's circle jerk. Yeah, and I think, yeah, that's right. We'll all agree with one another. Yeah, and you think this is an interesting point? Yeah, that's right, everybody. Be conditioned by this bullshit. Yeah.
No, have you ever gone to that place where you've had to dissect how you race in order to understand why things are going wrong?
I tried, it didn't work. And that's why I'm here, Will. So it's tough. When you get a new teammate as well, I felt like he would maybe be the stronger of the two at McLaren. I've always rated Lando
You tell us how you feel.
really high, but it's Daniel Ricciardo, 7-time winner, top dog. He did it really well at Renault before as well. And I thought he'd come in with a huge
Top dog. When?
momentum and be strong. But Lando's raised his game so well this year as well. And I think you do have to soul search a little bit in those tough times.
I think Carlos made it pretty hard for him to step into those shoes because he adapted to the McLaren so well and so quickly and was challenging Lando and being a great teammate, that the bar was set pretty high. And actually talking to some of the guys from that team, I think one of the advantages for Lando is that it is not the easiest car to drive on the grid, but he's just been there so long and done such a good job that he makes it look easy. And, you know, Daniel's had a real tough job this season to get on top of that.
But it's all new cars for next year, isn't it? So all the learning that he's doing, I wonder how much of that you'll actually carry over, because it's not even just like a new car like it's always a new car. It's the whole new generation, different downforce levels, maybe a different driving style to get the most out of it.
Fascinatingly, if it had come easier to
Fascinatingly. It is fascinating, isn't it? Let's all be really interested by this.
him, then he might not have been able to uncover or work with the team so much on figuring out what he likes from a car.
Right, we're 22 minutes, 50 seconds into F1, Formula One, talking about what happened at Abu Dhabi. What have we talked about so far? 22 minutes in, have we seen anything whatsoever relating to safety car procedure, rules of the sport, what actually happened that determined the outcome of that event and the outcome of the World Championship? I'm waiting.
Car. So in terms of the feedback he's had to give the team in terms of telling them what he needs, what he wants from a car, actually that could prove really beneficial for them going into next year, because they will now know every single facet of Daniel's driving and what he likes out of a car, because there was so much about this car that he didn't like.
That's the benefit of working with the team before the rule change, and that's why Fernando's back as well before next year, where he's hoping is going to be the big push with Alpine. You work with the team, you build up a rapport. It's really important to have a really good dialect with your race engineer, all the designers as well, who are trying to put some direction on the car. So maybe it'll be quite different for him next year.
Someone's getting thrown in the harbour. I think it's someone at Mercedes' last day. Usually you'll get covered in all the slops from the kitchen and blue dye, but I think he's in the harbour. So
Unbelievable. This is the state of the analysis of the corruption.
last day, hijinks. It's like the last day of school, isn't it? It's brilliant. There's such a great app.
It is, for all these circle jerking wankers. Yes. And what you're doing, you're presenting to these fucking little wankers that don't know anything about sport, but like to tell you what they think in the comment section.
It's been such a great vibe all day, but that last lap has just tipped things right over.
I had to check it
the
wasn't
top.
Michael Massey they were chucking in the harbour there. It wasn't, but the tension was high, wasn't it?
You can get yourself in trouble on that one.
Oh, you could get yourself in trouble on that. Oh, crack a funny joke about Michael Massey. We'll all have a laugh about that, shall we?
Mate, let's look very.
That's what Toto was on the radio to him the whole time.
So quickly, look.
Quickly change the subject. We can't talk about this. Jolyon, don't even joke about it. You'll get us all killed.
Looking at the last lap, Mercedes, Red Bull, both of them said they wanted to win it on track. Do we think anything over those last couple of laps will see Mercedes protests? Or do we think that actually looking at the words from Lewis after the race, how kind of humble, gracious, conciliatory, congratulatory to Max he was, that actually they'll...
Do you think there'll be protest, or do you think how humble Lewis is, how conciliatory, how congratulatory Lewis was? So let's go back over that bit. Let's talk about the amount of time spent talking about the protest, or the amount of time spent talking about the other option of not protesting.
Last couple of laps, we'll see Mercedes protests. Or do we think that actually looking at the words from Lewis after the race, how kind of humble, gracious, conciliatory, congratulatory to Max he was, that actually they'll just say, you know what, we were bested this year?
Let's go through that again. Let's focus on the amount of time again that he says, will they protest? Or here's the alternative option. Unbelievable. If you don't understand this is the bullshit narrative, then you're brain dead. Right? If you do not understand the bullshit narrative of this,
on the radio to him the whole time.
So quickly, looking at the last lap, Mercedes, Red Bull, both of them said they wanted to win it on track. Do we think anything over those last couple of laps will see Mercedes protests? Or do we think that actually looking at the words from Lewis after the race, how kind of humble, gracious, conciliatory, congratulatory to Max he was, that actually they'll just say, you know what, we were bested this year?
My opinion is, in the end, it was...
Tell us your opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments section. Let's break it down to the facts, shall we? Shall we break it down to the facts of what actually happened and how compliant that was with the rules of the sport? Well, Buxton, do you think they'll protest? Or do you think that, because of this reason, that reason, this reason, that reason, this reason, that reason, they won't protest? Bullshit.
Just unlucky for Lewis and Mercedes because...
Just unlucky. It was just unlucky.
Nicholas Latifi crashed. And in the end...
No, that's not unlucky. These things can happen, okay? Had it been a situation where the rules of the sport would have enabled a racing finish because racing would have resumed, Mercedes could have had a choice to make, and that choice could have determined the outcome. But the rules get looked at, the statistics get looked at, the probability of whether there will be a resumption will get looked at, and then the decision is made to not pit Lewis to lose track position. That's why you make these decisions. It's nothing to do with luck.
The decision to let the lap cars through is just the normal one that we always see.
Right, because it has to be done. The decision to let them through, spoken about as if there's an alternative, because there isn't. You can't resume racing with lap cars in situ, as I've said 100 times now, as you all know. But once again, they are conditioning people to believe, well, they could have done that. No, they couldn't. If you can't let them through, you finish behind the safety car.
Confusion was why they weren't going to let them through in the first place.
Yeah. The confusion was why they weren't going to let them through in the first place. Why was that confusion caused? That confusion was caused because F1 TV, the broadcaster, didn't show you why they couldn't let them through in the first place. They didn't show you that there were marshals on track at turn 14 sweeping that debris up still. And therefore, the clerk of the course cannot declare that track safe to the race director to make that race director then able to perform those required procedures. That's why. So, but there was confusion. Let's just use the word, everybody was just confused. Who was confused? Who was confused why they couldn't let the lap car through? Was the clerk of the course confused? Or did he know his job? Was the race director confused? Or did he know he wasn't allowed to let those lap cars through because the track wasn't clear? Who was confused? Just the audience, because they're not being told the right thing. Oh, it's confusing. It's confusing. We're just told it's confusing. How fucked up is that? We're just told, it's confusing. It's confusing. Bastards.
Yeah,
miscommunication.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. It was all confusing. Yeah. Circle jerk. The experts all agree. Yeah. Because we're racing drivers, right? Yeah. Circle jerk. Wankers.
Miscommunication was what made it seem like a bigger deal. But, the safety car comes out. I think everyone at the circuit thought that's going to bunch up the pack. There's going to be 5 lap cars between them.
And it's that...
What the fuck are you talking about? Everybody at the circuit thought, that's going to bunch up the track. Not that there's going to be 5 lapped cars between them. We've all watched Formula One for years, dickhead. We know what happens. We know that those cars bunch up behind the safety car. That incident gets dealt with, and then when that track is clear, all of the lapped cars get released, and that safety car stays out there lapping until those lapped cars have made it back round to the back of the group. They're given at least one lap of that safety car to enable that. We know that. So what are you trying to present? What you're doing, you're just lying to the kids that don't know this. They're lying to the Drive to Survive kids, this little audience of consumers that you wanted to attract to the sport. You're lying to them. Hey, yeah, and this just happened, and we didn't know. We thought this was going to happen, but we didn't know. Yeah, we agree, right, don't we? Yeah.
Confusion of communication which has existed not just at this event but going back, is that something?
Everything's been confused this season, hasn't it? You know, the communication problems, and there's so many. Maybe these all contribute to the problem. Yeah.
That has to be worked on over the winter in terms of how the FIA communicate with the teams that a decision needs to be made and stuck to, not then changed 30 seconds later?
I think there's a few things. I think the decision, and personally, I think Michael's job is harder when.
I don't give a fuck what you think. I want facts. Okay? It doesn't matter what you think, dickhead. Let's talk about facts.
We can all hear the conversation.
Yeah.
We never used to. This year's the first year, and I don't think it helps him when he knows that as soon as you get the team managers at Mercedes and Red Bull speaking to him, it's going to the world. These things used to just be sorted, and we wouldn't hear how they've come about, but they'd just be done. So I think he's got a really tough job.
So I don't know.
He's got a really tough job. You know, the world hearing what the referee of the sport is actually saying. You know, like these cricket umpires where they're doing a DRS review and they just take the world through the process. Right, I'm now doing this. I'm checking this. I'm checking the front foot of the bowler. That's okay. Right, I'm seeing the delivery bowled. That's all right. I'm seeing if there's a gap between bat and ball. Yeah, it seems pretty close. So we'll check the old snicko. There seems to be a spike there. I'm just running it through. Yeah, that looks to be ball on bat, and it corresponds with the timing. So the decision can be, it's out. Or, there's no bat involved, it's hit his pad. So we can go to ball tracking, and we can see if that ball's going to go on and hit the stumps. Go through your checks. The world sees it. Quite simple, isn't it? Quite simple. Oh, but it's also confusing, and the communication is so difficult, and it's not really fair on him because of the world is watching him. Just like, you know, a football referee when there's 40,000 people in a stadium shouting at him, and however many million fans watching some of these matches. Oh, yeah, the poor referee, and they're all shouting at him, and he could make a mistake. It's so difficult for him. Same for Michael Massey, tucked away in a room somewhere with at least 10 other people from FIA Race Control. Just so much pressure of all these people shouting at him.
No, because I don't work within an F1 team. Is it usual for team principals to try to tell the race director not to put a safety car out when it's something to do with?
Oh, let's focus on Toto Wolff now, telling the race director to not put a safety car out. Look at the narrative. Look at what we're focusing on. We're focusing on Toto Wolff telling him not to put a safety car out. At a point in time where we're seeing a car pull to the side of the track, can that be dealt with yellow flags? Can it be dealt with virtual safety car? Can it be dealt with a full safety car? What's it need? Now, that's the race director's job. If any team manager suggests something, they should be just shut off. Let the race director deal with it. But what we're getting from Red Bull is Red Bull telling Massey how to change the rules to affect a race. That's different altogether. That is different altogether.
Safety, is that
I think
usual or
that's
not?
probably pushing it a little bit. I mean, when it comes to matters of safety, you have to leave that completely in the hands of the FIA, because that's getting into very murky waters. But I think that's
What's murky about it? Come on, you're the expert, you're the driver. Explain to the world what's murky. What are murky waters? Tell the kids what you mean by murky waters. Murky water. Oh, yeah, that's murky waters.
completely in the hands of the FIA, because that's getting into very murky waters.
Yeah, that's what all the kids know now. You've educated the kids, right? Yeah, stuff like safety. You've got to leave that to the FIA because that's murky waters. And all the kids go, oh yeah, I see what you mean. It's like, tell us about safety. Yeah, safety's murky waters. Fucking mind blowing. Fucking mind blowing. Right? So you don't understand that there are health and safety acts. There is a duty of care for those administering an event to have a duty of care for those involved in the event and ensure safety, the safe running of that event, and to ensure that their procedures to ensure safety are carried out to ensure safety. Because if not, they are liable. They are legally liable. That costs them a lot of money. That can lead to people becoming imprisoned for neglecting their duty of care, their responsibility. Does that make the waters any clearer? Or are the waters still murky for some of you? But instead, we put forward this fucking child, this fucking talking head of a child that just wants to tell children, oh yeah, it's just murky fucking waters. Just murky fucking waters. It's telling you nothing. It's telling you nothing. Oh yeah, but yeah, just tell the you're the racing driver. They'll believe you. Yeah, it's murky waters.
But I think that's showing, the emotion coming through for Toto a little bit.
And don't
Yeah, it's emotional. Murky waters and emotional.
forget, they had the red flag in Jeddah last week that was a tough decision on them. The safety car, they were looking great, and then the red flag, and it sort of changed the complexion of the race. So I think they were...
Yeah, I wonder why that happened. We had 2 red flags in Jeddah, if you remember. One was when the Mercedes pitted and Red Bull didn't. And then what they did, they red flagged it. They red flagged it. Said that to repair the barriers. They might have done. I don't know. But what did happen is that Max was then able to change his tyres as well and start from the front because he kept track position from when he didn't pit the first time round. Strange that. And then there was a big crash at the second start up, so they red flagged it again. Oh, unbelievable. Unbelievable. Anyway.
Were worried about the championship ramifications of the safety car coming. Maybe it happens all the time. It's just high stress, isn't it?
It is indeed. Somebody that I really want to...
The ramifications of the safety car and the championship, it's all high stress, isn't it? Fucking...
Car coming. Maybe it happens all the time. It's just high stress, isn't it?
It is indeed. Somebody that I really want to hear from right now is the man behind that RB12. And that is, of course, the one, the only, the legend that is Mr. Adrian Newey, who's with Laura Winter.
Oh, have you got him before or after he went into that steward's appeal that he was allowed into with Horner and Wheatley to go in and argue their case when Mercedes are protesting to the stewards that the FIA have broken the rules of the sport. But Red Bull were allowed to go in to present a counter-argument, claiming that the rules that have been followed for the last 198 Grand Prix, there's now a different interpretation of them rules, and any doesn't mean all, and now one of these regulations overrides the others, and now we've decided that 15.3 means the race director can break the rules of the sport. Funny how you discovered all these after 198 times of accepting them as being what they were.
Well, Adrian, I'd imagine at some points during that race there was a moment where you thought this wouldn't be possible with Lewis Hamilton with such an advantage. And then, of course, the safety car comes out and you put Max Verstappen on softs. You pulled the trigger and Mercedes...
You pulled the trigger. You love these terminologies, don't you? You pulled the trigger. You're just a bunch of corrupt bastards.
didn't, and that was the moment that decided it.
Yeah, I mean, it's as you say, it kind of looks as if it's all slipping away from us. Lewis just seemed to have 2-3 tenths advantage on us, and it was just...
Per lap. 12 seconds at the point in time where Latifi crashed.
Eking it out. We obviously gambled to then go for a 2-stop. We had nothing to lose.
Because Red Bull had nothing to lose. Just keep telling them Red Bull had nothing to lose.
But it looked like we were going to run out of laps, and then the safety car changed it all. It's funny, you kind of, in that period just before the safety car, you just kind of think, you kind of start to reflect on all the missed opportunities this year and the bad luck we've had.
The bad luck that you've had. The bad luck in Spain where Max got away and penalised with running Lewis wide at turn 1. The bad luck in Imola where the same happens. Max dives bombs again without penalty. The bad luck in Italy where he does runs Lewis off the track there. The bad luck in Brazil where Max got away but penalty free for running another car off the track. The bad luck in Saudi where Max gets away with running a car off the track. The bad luck in Spa where Max gets given a race victory for a parade. Yeah, you've had so much bad luck, haven't you? So much bad luck.
Bits and pieces, what happened at Silverstone.
Oh, Silverstone. Oh, what happened at Silverstone? Let's bring into Silverstone, shall we? That thing that I'm still going to do another video on Silverstone, that I've broken down frame by frame, that I've showed you that the impact took place before even the curbing to Copse. Before even the curbing to Copse. The apex is halfway around that curbing. The impact took place before the curbing. Max drove across Lewis. He hit Lewis's front wheel. Lewis had to counter steer to prevent himself going off that track. And that's what drifted Lewis slightly left. And everybody blamed Lewis for it. And this is the narrative. And the Red Bull team incited the crazies. Yeah. Lewis nearly killed Max at Silverstone. Yeah. This is karma. No. You've been lied to again. You've been lied to by these corrupt bastards.
And then, we were lucky. And we were lucky, but we'd got the strategy right as well of coming in and putting him on softs.
Strategy right, yeah? Bullshit.
Incredible achievement. Thank you so much. Congratulations to you, Adrian.
Thank you.
Right, Nui is a corrupt bastard as well. Right, that'll do for this one. So we are 27 minutes 45 seconds in. 3 parts so far. More to come.